Right, here we go. Bede, Latin. Book 2, 12 continued. But if, even the king, you will be in future, with all your enemies extinct and dead, someone should promise this to you in truth or truthfully. Thus it would be, so that not only all your progenitors, all your ancestors, people who came before you in your bloodline, but even all who before you were kings in the race of the English they had been, if you can transcend them in power. At Edwin. But Edwin, Constantior Factus, he was made more steadfast and firm by this interrogation. He didn't didn't hesitate to promise or doubt the promise that from him who would give to him such benefits to himself, he responded with worthy actions of gratitude he would give. Then he, a third time, inquired. He said, now if he, who such great and such types of gifts is spoken or predicted, truthfully could be coming, so these are all A of neuter plurals, it looks like. So if these things he spoke truly of the things which would ventura, which means in the future, come, and even a plan to you, better and more useful for your safety and life than someone from your parents or blood relatives ever have heard, who is able to show this, whether you would obtempore him, whether you would obey him, and you would consent to take up his salutary advice or healthful advice. Neither did Edwin distool it, didn't defer it or delay it, from immediately promising in all things he would follow the doctrine of this person who so many and such great calamities could snatch him out of, and he would provect him to the apex of the kingdom, or the top or peak of the kingdom. Apex comes from apex. It can also mean letters or crown. With this response heard or accepted, immediately he who was speaking with him, he imposed his right hand on his head, saying, when this then sign comes to you, of someone putting their hand on your head, be mindful of this time and of our talk, and the things which now you promise, don't defer to implement them or fill them out or complete them. And, Bede of Absolute, with these things said, as they say, he disappeared suddenly, so that he could understand, Edwin, that this was not a man, essay from a head verb, who had appeared to him, but a spirit. And when the young king, alone, still was sitting there, rejoicing, or happy indeed, this consolation which was conlated to him, brought to him, but he was a bit anxious a lot, and he was cogitating sedulously in his mind who he had been and from where he had come, and who was this who had spoken these things to him. There came to him an aforementioned friend of his with a happy face greeting him, and he inquired, he said, surge, which means get up, intra, an imperative, enter, and soptus relictus anxiety. So having left all your cares and things you're worried about, compose together your limbs and your mind in quiet, because the heart of the king is mutated, it's changed. Neither to you does he anything of bad does he want to do, but rather he's decided to preserve or keep his promised fides, the faith that he promised. Postquam, after all since he's had this cogitation to betray you, I guess, concerning which I've said to you earlier, he revealed to the queen in secret, then she recalled him from that intention, advising him that's the medieval queer, uses for quad, it's not fitting by any rationale for such a great king, his great friend, who was placed in necessities, to sell for gold. So it's not fitting for such a great king to sell his friend for gold, who's in some straits. Rather, his faith, which is more valuable than all ornaments, that he should, looks like for money he should lose love. If you want to put this in some sort of English, it'd be something, it's better to keep your faith than to lose a friend because of money or something. Okay, daily dictionary, since we're near the end. Sopio, we saw it as sopitus earlier. Usually sleep, but it's a sudden shock or something he could have had, so he'd leave all his cares and shocking things behind. Okay, so the king fecketed. The king did, as has just been said, and not only this exile did he not hand over to the enemy's messengers, but even him he helped with this little clause that he should reach into the kingdom, which literally means he should come into power or the throne, which that ghost promised earlier. For soon, home, these messengers were returning. He collected a copious army to fight to the end with Adelfrig, and occurring to him, a meeting with him, with his army, which was much in par, it was a very unequal army, for there had not been given space to him in which he could congregate all his forces, and his army could, una means one, so ad uno means to bring it into one army, so he would have to collect all his forces and unite them into one army. He killed on the border or something, or the regions of the Marchman race, which is to the eastern region of the river, which is called Idia. I think that's an I. Okay, that is an L. Idla or something. In which contest, in which fight, also the son of Redvalde, his name was Regenery, he was killed in this battle. And thus, according to the oracle, or that ghost, which Edwin had accepted or received or got word from, not only did he avoid the hostile insidious or plotting and treachery and ambushes of the king, but he even, with this guy dead, he succeeded him in the glory of the kingdom. Okay, that's it.